All right, so as we're looking at this, section 5. We're going to review today our formulas here that we have on the board for slope-intercept, standard form, and point slope, and apply them to the idea of parallel lines. Okay? Up here at the top, I have 4 equations that are all very similar. And the reason they're similar is because they're all parallel. If you graphed all 4 of these lines, they would be parallel. Obviously, you see the 2/3, 2/3, and 2/3 on each one of these. That means the slope of each of these is what? 2/3. Okay, now, let's do a little review for the quiz. We'll get to this last one in a sec. What's the y-intercept of the -3? How do you say the y-intercept? Don't just say -3, but what are we going to say? 0, -3. What about the second one? 0, 1. And the third one? 0, 0. All right, now, on the fourth one, if I divided everything by 3, wouldn't that give me 2/3 x minus 1? Wouldn't it? Therefore, the slope of the third one is also 2/3. And if you graph 4 different lines with all having a slope of 2/3, they will all be called parallel. So what is the only qualification that you need to have 2 lines parallel? The slopes have to be what? The same. The rise over run has to be the same. So my question is, on number 1 and number 2, how do we determine if the lines are parallel? What's the slope of number 1? -2/3. So what do I need to pull out of this information here? The slope. Is the slope 4? Is the slope 6? No. I've got to take this and change it into that equation, y equals mx plus b. So let's take this. How do I get this y by itself? Where do I start, Nate? Yeah. So let's move this 4x over, away from the left side to the right side. That gives me 6y, -4x, and 18. Is the y by itself? Is it isolated? Not in any means. Now I divide everything by 6. Let's simplify. Y equals -2/3 x plus 3. So the question is, determine if they are parallel. What would your answer be? Yes. Give me a reason why, because we can never just say yes. Why? Brett? Okay. Because the slopes are the same. What if one was -2/3 and the other was +2/3? Would that be considered the same? No. Okay, let's look down at number 2. Are these slopes the same? Well, what's the slope of the left? M equals what? 3/4. Okay. Let's take this right one and solve for y. Start me off, Brittany. How do I get the y by itself?
Or add 9x.
Okay, we add 9x. Everyone add 9x. 12y, 9x plus 24. Going from there, Ryan, how do I get rid of the 12? Divide by 12. So everybody divide by 12. What's 9 over 12 reduced? 3/4. And what's 12 over 24 divided by 12? 2. What's the slope of the second one? 3/4. Slope's the first one. So are they the same? Are they parallel? By the way, how do you spell parallel without looking at the top? Think of 2 railroad tracks. There's your railroad tracks right in the middle. Parallel. Okay? Parallel lines. That's the symbol for parallel lines, by the way. That's how you spell parallel. So they are parallel because they have the same slope. Little review, TJ. What is the y-intercept of number 2? No? Come on, give me this a point. 0, -1. Good. What is the y-intercept of this one? 0, 2. Make sure when you talk about a y-intercept or an x-intercept, Justin, you give me as points. 0 something or something 0. They are points. All right, next one. Write an equation of a line that's parallel to this line. Well, in order to be parallel to this line, what do we need to know about this line? All right, so let's find the slope. Here we go. How do I get the negative 8y by itself, first of all? Start me off, Caroline.
You subtract 3x.
Okay, so everyone subtract 3x from both sides. Negative 8y equals negative 3x plus 16. Now, how do I get the y by itself? Taylor, what do I do? Okay, to divide everything by negative 8. Notice I'm dividing all three. So my equation is y equals 3/8 x minus 2. What is the slope of this line? 3/8. So let's put that up here. M equals 3/8. Do you recognize this equation? What is that equation called? What is that form called? Slope-intercept. Would you agree that this line has equations 3/8 x minus 2? Would you agree that another equation might be 3/8 x plus 7, 3/8 x minus 10, 3/8 x plus 1, 3/8 x plus 1,000? So long as what's the same, they're parallel. If the slope is the same, they're parallel. So now you have to make a choice. You have to tell me what number you're going to put in here to give me an equation that's parallel. What are you going to put in there? It doesn't matter. So long as you don't put negative 2 in, you can put anything. Put anything in that blank, choose a number, plus or minus. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to say plus 10. And the lines therefore are what? Parallel. That is parallel to that. What's the only thing you're looking to make sure? The slopes are the same, and I guess these numbers must be what to each other? They've got to be different, right? Otherwise you're graphing the same line twice. So to identify parallel lines, we're identifying the same slope. How did we find this slope? We solved for y. TJ, same question. What's the y-intercept here? Well done. Okay? Question.